once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love once again. Welcome back to Chats with Jack on Talcott Tuesday, baby. I am starting a couple minutes early again, so sincerely. The love I have and appreciation for the early crew, right? Those have been around with this Jack Talcott and this Live Without Fear, Chats with Jack. Those of you who've been around for a while, the early supporters and then the early ones here as well, it's always appreciated. It really is. The motivation and encouragement that I find, it confirms my earlier plans for today. Holy cows, the divine is with us, brothers and sisters. I'm feeling good. I am feeling good. And so as you join with me, whether live or later, please just allow us to move freely with some of these ideas, because I'm just filled with this deep, deep love for God, truly. And I'll get into some of the inspirations from earlier today, but the message in the background is rejoice and give thanks, right? Rejoice and give thanks for this moment. And we'll discuss some ideas I have that might be helpful towards that idea and that goal, but it really comes down to this. They can't control a fearless person. It doesn't work that way. That's the secret. You become uncontrollable by the world that's around you when, let's try this one. There's a little better. They can't control a fearless person. Have no fear of fear. Have no fear of fear. One who masters themselves in the face of challenges, that's one who's ready to overcome. See, and one who is ready to overcome the trials and challenges, the tribulations and limitations of the world, one who's ready to overcome those things in their life is ready to transcend, right? That which you transcend and overcome, right? That's where the kingdom of heaven is known. And the kingdom of heaven is here and now, if you allow it to be here and now, and you be at peace and joy, right? This idea of faith in God, faith in love is really what it comes down to. And in the past, I didn't understand love. It's part of my personal development in life, was learning how to love, right? Without love hurting so much. See, and it's fear that hurts us. It's fear that causes us to overreact and to live with suffering, actually. I mean, fear and suffering, those two will go together. We don't always make the best choices in the midst of those things. That's what I found for myself anyway. But with a peaceful heart can come clarity of mind. And that's what I learned for myself. Earlier today, I was considering, earlier today, I found myself with some doubts again, right? Because things haven't really been going the way I dreamed, so I felt some doubts within myself earlier today. And so I know the path to overcome my doubts. I pray, I confess. And I invite the Holy Spirit to guide me, to show me the answers that I need to bring peace to my heart. So earlier today, I prayed. I said, God, please, in the name of all that's holy, in the name of Jesus, right? That's the name I grew up with, whatever the name is. In the name of all that's holy, please, God, show me a sign that you're with me. So I know, right? And then I paused. And then out of nowhere, for those who know, you know, I've got a beautiful cat that I adore. Her name is Smokey. And she walked in and just flopped down on the floor in front of me, just all, I'm here, witness me, love me. And it was so cute. And you know, I'm past the prayer and now I'm just back to being, and I see what God showed me. What God brought to me in my awareness was evidence, just like I asked for. Evidence that God is with me. God showed me love and life right there before me, before my eyes. I saw love and life in the life that was before me and with me. And that's what I knew. The path I'm on is true. Okay. It is through love and life that you find the answers for you. You get to decide what is an answer for you, and you get to decide when you keep looking. But your attachment to ideas, your relationship to ideas, I think that's what karma really is. Because the truth and love and joy and freedom are eternally available in some aspect or other. So today, what I hope to share, you know, if I can share some of my love for God, my love for life, and you carry some of that with you, then you know what? The world starts becoming greater. And so after I realized the obvious, right, it's through love and life, I find the answers for me that give my heart peace. And I accepted that was the answer that God showed me. God's with me. And so then I was in further meditation, considering what does that mean if God is with me and what am I doing? My purpose here on earth is peace, wherever I go. And sometimes it gets challenging, right? It gets a little difficult when peace there. I disappeared on my end. I hope things are going through okay. Uh, Technology, holy cows! I lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. Love and life, finding the answers. The kingdom of heaven. Consider this: you are a multi-dimensional being. There are many aspects to you, many dimensions, many perspectives that you can be viewed and that you live, right? And we can break down on those different dimensions, right? Their attributes and qualities, right? So anyway, back to where I was going. This dimension, you raise your being, the human energy that you are, that you carry into the world through your day with you. Your human energy rises on levels of emotions, right? The highest emotions is right, love, peace, joy, gratitude, celebration. All those things are high energy, right? Um, and it's through raising your emotions, raising your energy, that you find a greater perspective. Perhaps you have more faith in the conditions, and you actually transcend the limitations that maybe were holding you back in the past, right? You transcend that to discover the kingdom of heaven is with you. It's found in the peace that you carry as the authentic part of you, right? The whole part of you. We live in this world of confusion, right? It's all divided and fractured, and people are profiting off the divisions and the fractures and keeping people confused and afraid and divided and at war, basically. It's tough out there. You got to fight to survive. You got to step on others to make it for yourself, right? And don't forget to ammo up. Protect those rights to own a gun. I don't mean to make fun of anybody, but I'm making fun of me. and, hey, there we go. Don't jump off the bridge, baby. Good advice. Boy, I friggin' love you. I do. You crack me up. So many of you. Still freezing up. Could be. Hopefully it's I'm gonna drop the link and engage a little bit more, but let me get a couple of these ideas, right? So where is the kingdom found? Kingdom of heaven found? How is the kingdom of heaven found? Number one, by the grace of God. So seek to know God's grace for you. Seek for signs of God's grace. Find it in the blessings. And in the blessings, you can feel this appreciation rising up regardless of the world around you, just with a focus on the power of your mind and God's grace. So the goal that I found for myself, it is this deep stillness and deep peace, right? It's just like layers of surrender. And as you surrender deeper into this moment, you realize that the time doesn't really matter as much as maybe you thought. All that matters is the present, for it is the present moment that constitutes your life and allows you to live it and to know it. Those are the things I found for myself is the kingdom of heaven, as Jesus said, as he showed, as he taught. You just got to believe in his words, his way, and try it on for yourself. And deep surrender and faith to God, devoting yourself to justice and righteousness, no matter the cost. That is the path Jack Talcott is on. I am devoted to justice and righteousness in as creative ways as I can. See, because I spent much of my life in the past. How do you describe it? Living the sins of the father, living the ways of the world. I chose to stray away from God's grace. I strayed away from love. That's the answer. I strayed away from love. I started making up my own rules. Found these excuses to vandalize. I found excuses to steal. I found excuses to drink all the time. I found excuses in the past. And in hindsight, it was only because God gave me a brilliant mind. I was so creative in my excuse making. Things never really felt right. And so somehow, some way, God allowed me to escape my past ways of thinking and started to allow me to broaden my mind. And I tell you what, when I started looking more into the development of and the different ways of religion and customs and society, corruption, man, my mind got blown. My mind got blown so many times by what I had learned. So I decided it was best just to learn how to trust. Learn how to trust that there's still more for me to learn. That back to where I was this morning. Sorry for the bouncing around topics, but after my prayers and the confirmation, finding love and life in my life, found comfort in my heart. And then I was praying, what is my purpose here? There's many answers to what I'm doing here on Chats with Jack and YouTube and social media and my websites. There's many things I'm wanting to do. But the number one consistent goal is to help you, whoever you are, have a little more faith in love, a little more trust in your life, so you walk with more comfort. I mean, just consider the logic of this. What's the result of faith in God? You get a peace in your heart. You have no worries. And what do you find in the absence of worries? Is there not perfection? I mean, if you can be with the moment and feel the perfection of the moment, regardless of the flaws that you might think of or the reasons not to, well, guess what you've done for yourself? You've given yourself over to the truth. The reality is, you may not have to worry as much as you think. The reality is, you may not have to fear as many things as you tell yourself. You may not have to be as sad as you used to be. You may not actually be as hopeless as maybe you were pretending to be, right? The purpose is to align yourself with the truth, because it's only through the truth that you find right alignment. And in right alignment with the truth of who you are, the truth of what you can control, what you can't control, when you stand with the truth of what you do know and what you don't know, without guilt, without worry, well, that's exactly what Jesus was teaching, and many others were saying. Life is heavenly, man, when you stop attaching yourself to your suffering and your fear and your anger. It's not always an attachment. It's not always an attachment to the feelings that we feel, but often the feelings that we consistently feel are ones we're denying ourselves from feeling. See, and this gets us back into the idea of God. God is the one source of all life, all knowing, all being. You are a part of that, all knowing, all being. You just have your little part to play, just like me. Right? In the greater scope of things, we're dust in the wind, and that wind appears chaotic, right? There's no order. No, that's just what we see. But collectively, there's a greater picture. In the greater picture, right, there's a bigger perspective. And in the perspective, find the higher order. The higher order that I see here on earth is to bring the new kingdom into our reality, your reality, my reality. We surrender to the truth. The truth of our life is we're here to explore what life can bring. I don't think I can be proven wrong on that. I mean, I'm willing to open it up for conversations for sure. And, well, you know what? I've been going on for a little while, and I don't want to put folks to sleep. So let me bring an opportunity and invitation. I have dropped the link, pinned it to the chat for those who may be present, wish to join the conversations. The ideas today of if you can truly be fearless, right? You become a fearless person. You can give thanks to the Lord. You can rejoice in your freedom from your worry, from your pain, from your bitterness. Or you can complain about those things. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does. It matters to those who love you. And those who love you are for you. So be for those who love you, right? Be for love. Do what is right in the eyes of the truth, right? That's all that matters, is the truth. And what is right in the truth for you is the truth for me and any others. The path of life, and a good life, it's health, it's nutrition for your physical body, for your mind, for your emotional body. Okay, you are designed to sense and to feel. Okay, but if you don't understand your feelings and you're running from your feelings, then what you are is fractured. Okay, and those who are fractured, they're not whole, they're broken. And what I'm talking about running from feelings, this is what my experience was. When I was drinking, I was trying to escape. I was trying to escape myself and the world I was living in. The world I was living in was being viewed through this veil of unworthiness. And I felt unworthy because I hadn't been honest with myself. And I hadn't been honest with myself because I hadn't allowed myself to grieve, right? Boys aren't supposed to cry. You better toughen up, don't you? Right? But I didn't recognize it, not until I escaped it, I guess. Behind my trigger, my emotional triggers, my anger and my temper, was a deep sadness that I'd never allowed myself to feel. And as life continued, I found more reasons to avoid feeling sad, right? More reasons to drink were obvious to me. But here's the path to the kingdom of heaven, right? Unify yourself, reconcile yourself with love and compassion. That's what builds, right, relationships. So be with you, your mind and heart being your perspective of you. Bring some compassion and love into how you see you. And then as you see you with compassion and love, accept yourself, right? Completely, for all your flaws, all your past mistakes, all your pains, all your sorrow. Accept yourself as you are. I trust that God does, right? That's what true love does, is accept. So in yourself, if you're feeling tied up and bound up, you're probably carrying tension within you, and it might be karma. You know, it's all God's design. We're just here to try and figure it out, realize what's going on. So anyway, here's back to the point. The God of reconciliation. That's the thought that I was thinking about a little bit longer. It is my personal prayer to reconcile the truth of me with the things from the past, but individually and internally. There's no running from the sadness you might feel. There's no escape from the guilt that you might know to be true. Okay? But what we can do is stop denying it, stop running from it. Don't lie to yourself. Be true. You're strong enough to grieve. You're strong enough to feel the sadness. You won't get trapped there, right? Feel the guilt if you're guilty. Feel the shame if you've done shameful things, but don't become that emotion. I mean, if you try and run from these things, they just mask themselves and they come out differently. The way you're designed is so glorious. So if you can accept your guilt, your shame, your sadness, your pain, if you can accept your helplessness, your anger, your fear, you can also accept your joy, your excitement, your gratitude, your freedom. You can accept your comfort, your strength. Those are all a part of you. Okay? And so the goal I found for myself is there's all sorts of pity party reasons and excuses for me to be sad or angry or guilty or shameful. I've done and lived a life, okay? So despite all the reasons to grieve and to cry in sadness, I find reasons to be excited, to be hopeful, to be grateful, to be delighted. And I'm intentionally trying to what is this? What is this? You guys. Kenny is playing the part of what Kenny is doing. He's he's a hoot, man. He is a hoot. And this is what I realized. Play the song Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. You know what? I'm feeling good. We got a guest in the back. Um, and let's see. JG, how you doing today, my friend? What's going on?
Pretty good, man.
You having a good day?
Yep.
Anything new or exciting for you?
New and exciting. Uh, Nothing really.
All right. Some days are like that. I get that. Um, this idea today, my love for God, it's a love for existence. It's a love just for the love of being with love. How often you allow yourself just to surrender and just be with love, JG? You ever tried that?
Do you think mind control? Do you think you're strong enough to defeat mind control?
No. No, I've tried all sorts of things. I've tried telepathy and I've tried astral projection and I've tried lucid dreaming and I've tried the kinetic powers. I did bend spoons when I was a child. Physically, that shouldn't have happened, but I've tried a lot of things, and no, JG, I don't believe I can control anyone's mind.
What I'm saying is, like, people trying to mind control you. Are you strong enough to defeat their attempts?
I think I've made enough mistakes in my past. I feel pretty comfortable. I'm getting better at discerning through the bullshit and the bullshitters.
Well, Jack, I think you have what it takes. I think in the next couple of years, you're going to deprogram, and a lot of great things are going to happen for you yourself.
I actually feel that. I didn't really go as deep into it, but this morning, after my prayers, I was in thought, meditation, considering the path I'm on. And it brought me back to the example of holiness, Jesus. He showed me the way to be. It's He who I follow. And I'm inviting others to join me doing so in your own way. Follow the way of Jesus, the way of forgiveness and love, joy, right? Freedom. If we live a life here on earth where we actually live with faith that love is the right answer and that love will reveal the right answer. If we live that way, I'm not sure how you go wrong. Because the idea of a God who loves, a God who allows love to be known, love is the power of and force of unification. It's what brings life into being, I'm sure. So I have fallen in love with the source of love. And the source of love that I've learned, it's the giver of life that's with me. And through the life that's with me, I can discover love through the power of my mind and intentions. And if I unite my mind and my intentions with the desires of my heart, and I'm truly honest and I consider, right, what are the consequences versus what's the risk versus cost analysis, right? You use wisdom and discernment in deciding which is the best choice for me to make. If you follow love, I'm not sure that you can go wrong, to be honest, as long as you're truly honest. That's the only way that love can be known, is through honesty. Anything else is a distortion and a corruption. It's misleading.
So you're against mind control?
I'm against oppression and exploitation. I am about intentional cooperation, which kind of reminds me, I tried doing like a little short video earlier, and I don't think, oh, we lost JG. Jeeps, I know. I tried it when I was a kid. I learned of these things when I was very young. My stepfather introduced me to a lot of different ideas when I was, yeah, 10, 12. I don't know, 10 to 15 maybe. That's where I was really reading a lot, learning. Praise God. You know what? God did give me adults in my life that wanted me to be smart. I sure do appreciate that, because there's a lot of dummies out there that just like enable each other's ignorance and help each other lower each other's standards. But Mars, you're such, is it jealousy, that insecurity? There's something that keeps you and I from getting along better. Because here, actually, let me point this out, because it's on the screen, this claim that Jack knows everything. He bends spoons. Don't be silly. I was thinking about this earlier. Knowledge and awareness of knowledge brings one a confidence. That's been my experience. Once I started expanding my mind on myself and the greater world, I started speaking with more confidence. But please don't mistake my self-confidence as any sort of indication that I have egoic supremacy, because I don't. Right? As far as I'm concerned, when I drop the link here, I'm inviting people to join me. We're sharing this life experience, and we are learning and growing together, right? So that's really what I'm talking about, is let's learn and grow together. We got a wonderful guest who's much like me, learning and growing as we go. Welcome back, the Crazy Guru.
That's the only way I'm like him, guys, learning and growing. As we all are. I shouldn't laugh at that. But I mean, yes, thank you, Jack. I'm going to be honest. I got a confession to make, and I'm still making it. The confession is, I don't know if I'm going to be the greatest panelist tonight. So I just wanted to come on. If you think I'm overstimulated, kick me off at any point. I have to give my apologies in hand. I really just wanted to come on and say that, yeah, I agree with you with the knowledge and growing and changing and becoming greater versions of ourselves. And I don't care what the rest of you think. Jack is helping me in ways and hasn't asked anything but my friendship back. Don't worry, I'll wait for the moment he asks me for my credit card, and then snafu, I'll tell you he was correct, okay? But no, I've already got so much. I wish I had the money to give to him. If I had it, he would have it, because there's genuine help and I can show him that. And hopefully that's the best I can pay him. And I've been honest with him and he hasn't asked for anything else. So thank you, big man. As you can see, I'm overstimulated. It's not always the best for the Talcott show. I don't mind if you want to turn that overstimulation in a minute at the moment and try and harness it with us and see how I do. But I also have something on my mind. I've got my notes for what I want to do tonight with the Garden of Eden. It's not expansive, but it might seem like that to some. I don't mind sharing them with you now. It kind of goes along with things, and you can, because I don't have that awareness right now, Jack. If I give that authority over to yourself and say, if you see I'm going too fast, if you see I'm overpowering, or you just want to pause there because it's too much, feel free to do that, and I will stop, because I'm not here to steal the show. I'm here to admit I might not be the best guest, and I do want to share some stuff if you're interested.
Let's pause. Please.
Thank you.
Much love. And I do want to get to those things, but let's go to them more relaxed, okay? Because you are excited. I can see you got a lot to share, and that's good.
Then that means I'm here by your generosity, because me and you planned if I was aware that I should stay in the chat and who's frab of this. And so, because I'm admitting it to you, I'd like to be permitted to stay. But the moment you say, no, not now, Guru, no offense taken, get us out there, or I'm going to take the lead and admit to everybody, I'm only here by Jack's good grace, because technically I shouldn't if I'm in this state, if I get high rate. And so long as Jack says, off your pop, Guruji, that's for my best. And I know Jack understands that. So thank you, Jack.
Thank you, brother. And here from the Freak, I agree completely. And thank you. Crazy Guru, you have so much creativity. You channel that, and that potential is limitless. And I think you're discovering that. You're finding that about yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm finding that things like this are very much true. I think I had the confidence in there prior to visiting you guys, but you guys have deepened that expensively and given me room to grow and show that I'm not a fraud, as much as the act seems like it, and it has to be for certain reasons. And I appreciate you all, really do. And yes, it's always that no one can really grow if they're not given the room. So guys, if you see any growth, it's because someone gave me room, you guys. So thank you.
You know what, brother? That's a very true observation. And if people can realize that, when we recognize behavior that we don't appreciate, realize that not everyone has had the support and maybe the opportunities to really improve. Maybe they have, but they haven't recognized them, right? And just because someone failed in the past, or maybe they're challenging in the present, doesn't mean you gotta wash your hands of them. It just means that we're all in this together. And if we can help each other, Guru, I was considering this thought. And it's kind of a paraphrase from an earlier quote I found somewhere. But we discover a man with poor behavior. That is nothing more than an opportunity for a good man to influence, right? And not every man has had strong strength or compassion, right? Not everyone has been offered or shown a lot of the things that a healthy man can bring. But we're here to help each other. You're muted, brother.
I relate to what you just said there to a lot of things that Christ taught when he turned around and said there's a certain blindness that I'm here to heal. It's not necessarily the blindness of the individual, although that's part of it. It's the blindness of all those around you that can't see that individual's pains and traumas. And naturally we respond into them and Christ says he is without sin. So was again that correct? You are following Christ's teachings there and saying that there's a spiritual blindness upon us all. We learn to love, we can lift it. Is there something close to that? Yeah, then I certainly feel you, yeah, definitely. Bad, good, whatever words people want to use of it. I know we generally in our hearts just mean that some of us have fallen to a position that we don't see as being helpful. And in that doubtful position, those individuals we claim as bad actors within a system we're trying to create of harmony and love can be those agents of chaos. And I'm quite of the mind, and I don't know about you, Jack, maybe this is where you can take over here, is of that some of that, if not most of it, not all of it, I don't believe all of it, otherwise you wouldn't be hearing me, but some of it, if not most of it, is purposely done to keep us in a world of corruption and a caged mind nowadays for whatever reasons. And whether it's that, direct or something different, I think most people are feeling in different areas. So what I'll say about that is, I'm seeing that this, that whatever we call it, bad, good, this imbalance, this inharmonious balance that we've got, I think a lot of it is aimed for other people's corruptive needs, and it's very selfish, and that's why we link so much on it. So would you say that also, that a lot of the bad and good that we see in this world is orchestrated a little bit by a higher power within our systems that you wish to get in contact with, or individuals who have power to change? Does that link at all to any of that?
I'm not sure. I know that what happens in the world is happening through the people of the world. And if the people of the world stop fighting each other, we'll solve the majority of the world's problems. And Snafu, I see you in the back, but I double checked and you did not respond to my text. You didn't respond to the questions I sent you. So I might bring you up. You're welcome to stick around, but I just want to give you a heads up. Not quite yet. Welcome back. Kenny, how are you today, brother?
Hey, Kenny.
Hi, Jack. Hi, Gracie. I'm good. I just want to read out the 10 commandments of the MAGA movement and how important they are for a better world.
But why? Wait,
because we need to come together under the banner of the Stars and Stripes, one God, and be more patriotic and do what's best for the country. If everyone in each of their countries done that, then the world would be a more peaceful, prosperous, and harmonious place. Yeah?
Okay.
So hear me out. You said yesterday you would hear me out even if you disagree with me. You said that. Then you could challenge my ideas. Then we could maybe come to some kind of compromise.
Please. Yeah.
You said you didn't want the show to become an echo chamber, Jack. So you're going to let me say my piece? Free speech, brother?
The floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you. Commandment number 1 of the MAGA movement, America first. Nationalism over globalism. The foundational belief that US foreign economic and social policy must prioritize American citizens and domestic interests above all else. This includes a deep skepticism of international bodies like the UN or NATO and foreign aid. Number 2, secure the borders. A strict stance on national sovereignty focused heavily on ending illegal immigration. This is symbolized by the construction of a southern border wall, strict enforcement of immigration laws, and policies favoring mass deportation. Number 3, economic protectionism, fair trade over free trade. A rejection of traditional free trade globalism in favor of bringing manufacturing back to the US. The movement heavily relies on tariffs to protect American industries, particularly in the Rust Belt states and Heartland, and to punish foreign competitors, especially China. Commandment number 4, drain the swamp, anti-establishment populism. A fierce opposition to the deep state, the permanent bureaucracy of government agencies, intelligence communities, and career politicians in Washington, D.C. The goal is to strip power from unelected institutional insiders and return it to its populist base. Number 5, loyalty to Donald Trump. The
Oh,
movement is deeply tied to a cult personality around Donald Trump. Complete political loyalty to him as the champion ultimate leader of the movement is often treated as a non-negotiable by the base. Amen. Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. Number 6, combat the woke culture war. An aggressive pushback against progressive social shifts, identity politics, and mainstream institutional diversity initiatives. The movement positions itself as a defender of traditional family structures, biological definitions of sex, and what it views as classic American identity. Number 7, total skepticism of mainstream media. The wholesale rejection of established news networks, which are labeled fake news or the enemy of the people. The movement heavily relies on alternative media ecosystems, social media platforms, and direct communication for its information. Number 8, law and order. Tough on crime stance that supports robust funding and authority for police and law enforcement, alongside a strong emphasis on protecting the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, as a defense against tyranny and crime. Number 9, Judeo-Christian values and religious freedom. A strong alliance with Christian nationalism, viewing America's historical greatness as fundamentally rooted in Judeo-Christian principles. It emphasizes protecting the rights of conservative religious groups to operate without government interference. And lastly, number 10, fight against rigged systems. The belief that major American institutions, including the electoral system, the justice system, and corporate tech giants, are fundamentally rigged against working class conservatives. This tenet fuels a constant mandate to challenge the status quo and push for systemic overhaul. Make America great again. We will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. Thank you, Jack. Peace, love, and blessings.
Wait. There's no discussing this?
Oh, sure, you can discuss. I just finished my monologue.
Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. God bless you, brother. You're open about your belief systems, and I respect that.
I'll be honest, I was being a bit tongue in cheek with number 5, the cult personality of Donald Trump. It's like,
wait, only number 5?
They accuse us of that. So I was just sort of playing with it. But me personally, if you want my personal belief, I think Charlie Kirk was 10 times the man that Donald Trump is, and he would have been a much greater president than Donald Trump.
Do you know,
I think he was a great ambassador for the MAGA movement.
I don't know, guys, but from what I know, which is very subjective and ignorant, I agree with that. But I don't know. You guys would know more about that, wouldn't you? I mean, I know you're a huge fan. I'm a fan of America, by the way, guys. A huge fan of it. I think you guys are inspirational to me in so many ways, but it's also like everywhere else. You've got your flaws. Kenny seems to have picked up on those inspirational parts and taken them in. That's why I got a feeling he's really going to take the show eventually, because I think Jack can get the greater parts of your pride out of him, and he can tell you what he's seeing, which is a great observational tool to have. I would want it anyway. I'm hoping Kenny gives me that respect once I've entered back. But thank you. Yeah, I got a lot from that, and I'd say I agree with the Charlie Kirk thing. I don't know much about it, so if you guys don't mind, I'm going to let you continue, and if you don't mind me sitting back, you're listening, so I don't feel ignorant, right? That's all I can say on it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. There were several of those that I couldn't find agreement with, but I think it was number 4 about actually exposing the deep state and overcoming the military industrial complex. Did I hear something like that? I think it was number 4.
Let me check. So number 4 is drain the swamp. A
Yeah.
fierce opposition to the deep state, the permanent bureaucracy of government agencies, intelligence communities, and career politicians in Washington, D.C. The mega
Yeah.
goal is to strip power from the unelected institutional insiders and
Mhm.
return it to the populist base.
Yeah, but it seems to me that he's taking the deep state into a different direction. Donald Trump he's been a salesman, the spokesman for the military industrial complex, bragging about his weapon sales to Saudi and all these other nations. What I don't think Donald Trump, I don't think he really fully grasps his involvement in the deep state right now. That's what I'm getting at. Guru, were you trying to? You're muted if you're Guru.
I didn't want to derail what you were guys saying. If you want to keep on, this is not a highly relevant question. It was an interesting question. Is because I heard you both agree with something that I only subagreed on, which was Charlie being a better representation for presidency than Trump, without just slinging mud, which we can do for all things, and that's not what you guys are doing. In what ways? That was really interesting, actually. That'd be a curious question for me, is what do you guys think that maybe top 3 things you think Charlie, from what you know of him, would have done would made better decisions so far than Trump would have? And I know it's subjective from what you guys know, but I really like to learn that, because you both agreed on something. I only subagreed on it, and I want to know what you guys think. Well, what kind of things? Kenny, you seem to say first. If you want to go first, it's up to Jack, obviously. But I was just thinking, what could you guys agree on, at least, that Charlie would have brought to the table that Trump isn't? Because I don't know much about this. You don't have to go there, but if it's relevant, I'm interested in knowing that, because I did like Charlie and I don't know much about these guys.
Simple answer.
Yeah, so that's a good question, Guru. There is one. Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk had a heated phone conversation where Donald Trump chastised him and told him to just trust the process, that it's going at the right amount and at the right time for a judicial
well known, yeah. Jack,
process to go. And that was the Epstein files. Charlie Kirk said to Donald Trump, you need to release more of the Epstein files for your MAGA base to have more confidence in you. And
that's one thing.
Okay,
that's one thing.
That's actually in the direction of my thoughts. What would be different between Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump? I don't believe that Israel would be able to blackmail Charlie Kirk into going to war like they did with Donald Trump.
The Iran thing, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah?
I think he rejected an offer of over $100 million from.
I heard that somewhere, but I didn't understand it.
Some Israeli guy to speak more positively of Israel on his show, Turning Point USA, the Charlie Kirk show, and he rejected it apparently.
Yep, that's why
Charlie Kirk rejected this. The positive guy himself. You know, wow, that must have why. Why, guys? If you got to understand that, because that is powerful to have a man like that reject that from a man that said so many wonderful things about that in the past.
The one thing that separates. The reason being, the one thing that separates Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk is Charlie Kirk wanted to be known above all else for having the courage of his faith. He was a devout Protestant Christian.
Is that like Jack? Like he took his teachings from Christ. I've heard Charlie say that a bunch of times. That's why you link Jack a lot with Charlie.
He said that, but
yeah, I heard him. That's what I'm asking. I don't know. What were you guys' thoughts on that?
My criticism of Kirk was his nationalist ideas. I don't believe that's the true message of Christ.
Yeah, I can see why.
That's actually why I have disagreement with many of the MAGA idea foundations that you just offered, is because I don't believe that America should claim some sort of supremacy unless we're actually serving the world more than just pollution, debts, corporate greed, destruction, war. I mean, that's what America has become, a bunch of, I could be mistaken, but I know that the number of jobs in the service industry has been a big part of the economy, right? Serving each other entertainment and fast food. And really, what are we doing? We're not serving each other except this consumerist lifestyle. So back to where we were, I guess. Sorry. The idea that America has earned some sort of world supremacy, that's a bunch of bullshit the devil taught us to believe.
Yeah, I know the truth. I think I have a lot of things, to be honest with you, since you mentioned superiority, and I feel a little open to talk about it because you brought it into it, Jack. But yeah, that word, since you mentioned it, I told you how I relate to that word. It's a very powerful word. And as I was bringing up with you and Kenny today, we've lived in a superior system for so long that it's obvious for Kenny to ask those questions the other day, which is why I love the conversation, which is natural. You can't expect us to live it, but that's what he was saying. I'm not arguing against you because I see your side. In fact, you're the one who brought this up, is that if we've lived in a superior system all our life, which is kind of a little bit like your argument, I think. I won't say that is. There's a gradual growth to something. So enforcement is something Kenny has, what any rightful mind today that claims common sense, it's not always the greatest sense, it's not always presence, would say we need a path towards there. And I think even Christ might have said something like that. In fact, that's where I got from you, Jack, to be honest. We spoke about earlier. Yeah. But for wrap up, was just saying that authority enforces itself. Nothing has to enforce it. So if you're continuously enforcing something, you've got to understand you're coming from a place of superiority and you have to change. And I think Constant Kissinger just recently said this. He said this about us Brits. So maybe you can relate at all in America, Jack. I'll say if I'm Brit, he said we went from 2 parties to now 5 parties, mocked them all. But then he said what we seem to do here, and I think Asma Gold just mentioned this, and it's just happened here with Keir Starmer. I don't know if I smile for Kenny there, but what we like to do is we don't mind changing the captain every now and again when things go incorrect, and we all cheer, but we never really change our course. And I think that's a massive part of the message you're saying about everything.
Yeah, I'm suggesting we change the course. And if the people who are currently there don't want to change course, well, it's time for them to step out of the way because the course needs to be changed. The direction of, well, the international affairs, the world affairs, it's time for them to change.
I'll send you our link, Jack, to look at what Constant Kissinger recently said. You'll have a good laugh of it. Of course, you'll take a laugh of his jokes from the British side, from the American side. But that part where you just said then, almost identical, and he said in front of the world stage, and from trigonometry, you're in the UK. Hey, just saying, it was almost word for word there, so you're probably going to get what he's saying. He said something almost along the lines. I don't want to steal the show, but what do you think, Kenny, when we was trying to say that if I said I can sympathise you, I don't know if Jackie speaks for himself, but I can sympathise you when you go, look, we need force, we need to enforce things to get to where you guys want to go. I sort of get you, but at first, if we don't realise where we're going to go, how do you know which enforcement's put in place? And that's done with love and care. And so seems to me like my way of doing it and your way of doing it may not be the best way. And I'm starting to learn how to listen to Jack just in the direction he's saying. He's saying that, to me anyway, that look, you guys can put your force in wherever you like, but as long as it comes from a place of superiority, people are always going to rebel against you. So I'm learning authority, which comes from a loving place, is from unity. And it's hard for a doubtful mind to see it, but if we can understand we can work together, we could bridge in time, but before we've got to get on the right page, on you guys. Sorry, I am really stimulated today, Jack. I did say that. I do apologize. I know it's a show. Sorry, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Well, DeFreak, thank you for the contribution and support. And I actually welcome. I haven't paid a lot of attention to the politics over there, but I saw the resignation and
I can't. Sorry, Jack, just let Kenny take the stage here. I can't. I don't know enough about it, but I got a feeling Kelly's going to light you up right here, brother Kenny. I can't answer this question honestly. I can only tell you what I think of him at the moment, which is not fair. But I'm sure a man like you can.
Let's let him. Yep. Thank you, Kenny. What do you think, brother?
Hi, Jack. Sorry, what was the question?
There was a request from one of the viewers and supporters. Can we get a comment about Starmer by our UK brothers? You do pay attention over there, and what's your view? I know you reported on it, but please feel free. You were invited. You're muted, though.
Kenny.
There you go.
Keir Starmer has been a disaster on his energy policies and the immigration system as well. And the economy's been not great under him as well. He's shown poor leadership. He's flip-flopped. And his popularity over the years since he came in 2 years ago has just gotten lower and lower and lower, and got to the point where after the local elections in May, the local elections, where Reform UK won 1,200 seats. And that was an absolute bloodbath for both Labour and the Conservatives. That's when the cabinet members and more of Keir Starmer's MPs gradually began to turn against him. But the thing with this chap that's due to replace Keir Starmer, Andy Burnham, he's not going to be really much of an improvement. There's an old joke about Andy Burnham, right? A Corbynite, a Blairite, and a Brownite. That's Gordon Brown, Tony Blair, and Jeremy Corbyn for our friends in America that didn't know much about political situation in the UK. A Blairite, a Brownite, and a Corbynite walk into a bar and order a drink, and the barman says, "What will you be having, Mr. Burnham?"
Sorry, children, guys, I'm listening.
Yeah, the guy is just like, he goes where the wind blows. He doesn't have any principles. He's like Keir Starmer in many ways.
Who's that, Kenny? You don't need to recap. I missed it. Sorry about it.
So I'm saying Andy Burnham, he's a flip-flopper, even bigger than Keir Starmer. He doesn't have a real solid stance of his own.
Right, here we go. Ready? Kenny, this is what you need to do. I'm going to tell you, get ahead of the game because of what you just said. You came up with this. Ready? You know how they got two-tier Keir? Think of the same similarity and think of a name for this guy before it happens and get ahead of the game, brother. Get out on T-shirts and everything for this guy because you know they're all going to want to jump in a bag and you know what I'm talking about. I'll leave it there.
Yeah. So I was just saying to Jack that Nigel Farage said about Andy Burnham, a Corbynite, a Blairite, and a Brownite walk into a bar and order a drink, and the barman says, "What will you have, Mr. Burnham?" You know, that's how.
I don't get it. Thank you for
flip-flopping Andy Burnham is, you know.
Well, I think that is kind of. Here, go ahead.
I think
please.
the UK economy will suffer under Andy Burnham as well, and he'll be as unpopular as Keir Starmer by Christmas time.
Oh, hey, wasn't Keir Starmer? I heard part of his reason for stepping down was because the guy he appointed as a U.S. ambassador was tied to the Epstein, and he's
Peter Mandelson. Yeah, Peter Mandelson.
See,
even though Keir Starmer was advised not to,
he
still went ahead and done it.
Can I ask you guys a controversial question? I know it's controversial. I'm just asking it for fun. It's on but off topic. I'm asking permission first.
Go ahead, but then I am going to ask you guys to create space. There's encouragement for me to try and communicate with Snafu today, but please go ahead with your thought.
Well, I tell you what, Jack, you can Google me a 2-in-1 actually. My son is come back when my wife's still doing something at the moment, and I have to take over responsibility there. A good 30 minutes there and coming back later would be okay if I'm not welcome out of his space. I don't mind if it's not. But if I said leave this question with you, and it's not me trying to say it, what do you think of the recent ideas somebody's been floating, and I don't know if you think this, I don't know anything about it, about Hunter Biden going in a race at some point?
I don't know.
Like, do you guys, because he's not quite the issue people said they had with Biden. He kind of understands the MAGA base a little bit as well. He could be this dark horse in the middle I've seen, and I'm just seeing, I don't know nothing. I'm ignorant in this. I'm asking two people I feel have a little love in their hearts, but also have an issue with you. And if you want to steer this towards this or involve it all, I'd be interested because it's new to me. Because I was like, I seen this video did. You know me, I like his grit, but I don't know about presidency. I think maybe a good mayor or something like that. I don't know. But what has he got that presidential quality, or is he just another Trump for the left? Do you see what I'm saying?
He's irrelevant to me right now, right? Because Guru, go ahead, please. Thank you, and we'll see you later.
Guru, I have a request. Guru, I have a request.
It's up to Jack Brothers' show.
Hi. So somebody in the comments wants you to leave just because you make them feel triggered and bitter and envy. And this is a horrible, nasty person. So I would like you to hang around, actually, just to rub salt into this fuckhead's wounds.
I'm going to say,
it's not too much to ask.
If this was your show, I would 100% do it, Kenny, with a smile on my face.
Thank
and
you.
You know I would, but because I've made promises with Jack to help me, and as long as I don't want to lose this man's trust, and I'm not going to make him ask for permission, I'm going to say, I can't, brother, but another time. And I don't know, maybe I'll go in the chat. And no, I'm not Jack. Thank you, Jack. Sorry, Kenny. Thank you, guys. I'm not healthy enough to do it, Kenny, but maybe another time. Thank you all.
Okay.
No,
right.
No, whoops. Sorry, Kenny. Carl, you're fine, but I swear he said his wife was calling him. So,
he had to look after his son or something, yeah.
And the question about Hunter Biden, to be honest, no, this is my whole point. There's 350 million Americans. There's more intelligent, there's higher quality leaders that are available rather than just these celebrity types. And I think we're at a time where people are waking up to greater answers, greater ideas. And Kenny, what you were talking about is probably true. I mean, you pay attention to a lot, and I respect that. And you're reading and researching, and I see you.
I'm in a constant state of evolving, learning, understanding, listening as well, you know. I don't claim to know it all, you know. I read certain things to inform the debate. That doesn't necessarily mean that I claim to know that is definitely true beyond reasonable doubt. I bring it in to see if it can stand up to scrutiny.
Yes. Well,
yeah.
And this is just it. What I trust what you're saying, that Starmer's gone and he didn't do a lot of good, and there was problems that, you know, maybe he was a part of, and the new guy not really ringing a lot of hope, it sounds like, right? Kind of more of similar but the same old thing. We've got a worldwide problem of piss poor representation, piss poor leadership from these people that are corrupted and criminals. America hasn't had any arrests, as far as I know, from any of the evidence, the millions of pages of documents involved in this group of people involved with disgusting, horrible things. Epstein, and so far the only one in jail is Maxwell. What the frick, man? I mean, hey,
it could be because there's so many files to go through and sift through. It's taken such a long time to build up a case. You know,
this is the downfall of what I see in our governments. Justice delayed is justice denied. And there's the brave victims, right? The people who experience the abuse, they've been strong enough to stand out and to speak up. And they're not seeing the people who are allegedly here to make the place safe for us. They're not seeing them do what they're supposed to do. Hey, Kenny, we have an opportunity here. He's been stirring and agitating in the background. Our friend Snafu Snaps is back here.
Okay.
I've been trying to find a way to communicate with him peacefully. So far, all of my efforts have failed. I'm going to bring him up because if Snafu is willing to cooperate, he does pay attention to a lot of the world news too, right? And if he can stay calm with us, we might have some great conversations. So let's see what we can do.
Jack, can we first, before we get into the Epstein things, for one, I'm speaking for most Americans. You have drove Americans away, and now you got all these weird foreign fucks on your panel. No, it's laughable. Second, you got a big secret in the backstage, because guess what? Guru admitted in your backstage, and Jack's hiding it. I asked him, "Are you a rapist too?" And he said, "Yes, I am. I got the screenshots." So your boy sitting next to self-admitted he's a rapist. You're backstage, and see, this is the corruption we're talking about, folks. Jack is hiding rapists sitting next to him on his panel, and I got the screenshot, folks. So I'll post it up on Discord and I'll post it here. But Guru in the backstage on this show admitted he's a rapist. Jack, what do you think?
Actually, why don't you double check to see if you got his comment? Why don't you see if you've got your information in the right context? Because what he actually said is, yeah, I've done that. Right after you pointed out losing his family. Okay, you were talking about me losing my family, and then you asked the question about grape. And then he says, yeah, I've done that. So if you're going to speak the truth, why don't you make sure you're accurate in the context?
Okay, let's show the audience the chat. Because I got the screenshots, and that's not what happened, folks. I said, "Are you a rapist too?" And he said, "Yes, I've done that." Jack's making shit up. See, this is the corruption, Jack. You're just as bad as
Trump. Go back and look. You're being dumb.
Got it.
I don't. Great, you've got it. I see what I see. Kenny, are you able to see the private chat? You see what he's talking about?
Private chat.
Yeah. It's right at the time of 4:16 to 4:17. In the private chat, not the public, just so.
That Snafu Snaps is a nasty, horrible person reading. But I can't see any comments from Gracie Guru.
Right at 4:17, he says, yeah.
Yes, brother, I've been there also, pal. So what? What's your point, brother? I'm listening. And then Snafu Snap says, rape, losing jobs. Gracie Guru, losing his family. You're a rapist, Guru. Then Gracie Guru says, yes, I've done that. Fuck you too, I'll destroy you, Snafu Snap says. Snafu Snap says, time to strike Jack Guru CHNX. Guru admitted he's a rapist. You can't even spell rapist properly. But no, that's inconclusive. It doesn't mean to say that he was responding to that comment, that accusation.
Thank you. Thank you. Because Snafu threw out a bunch of things, and Gracie Guru generically says, yeah, I've done that. And knowing Guru's story, he's went through a lot. You know, he lost lost connection to people in his past. And I trust that's actually what he was agreeing with, Snafu. And so once again, Snafu, the appearance seems to be you're jumping to conclusions and probably wrongfully accusing an innocent man.
Very toxic indeed.
That is what it is, Kenny. It's this pattern of bitterness that he hasn't been willing to set aside. And I texted Snafu earlier today. I asked him specifically, what prevents peace between you and I? I asked Snafu, what prevents the two of us from getting along with each other better?
Yeah.
Let's see if he can answer any questions. Snafu, if you're not willing to cooperate in a conversation, a back and forth, we're done today, okay? So welcome back.
Okay,
Can we discuss my
I'm
question?
willing to cooperate very calmly, but I request that you show the audience and viewers the actual screenshots versus trusting this fucktard who believes in Trump and Hunter Biden and this fucking guru foreign piece
Hey,
of shit.
chill
No, I want
with
you to show the audience because I'm good.
chill with your bitterness. All right. I can figure out how to do this, I'm sure. What is that? A snipping tool. We'll make an image.
Sounds
We'll
like he has
see.
some kind of personality disorder.
He say that again?
It sounds like he has a personality disorder, that guy.
He does. He sincerely does. He's got a lot of, well, he's an example of today's society where, whoops. He's an example of today's society where he's got a lot of growth to do. He's got some inner work to do. Snafu doesn't actually understand that I could probably help him feel a lot better. Just by sharing friendship is one way to help him feel better, but he wants to attack me.
I'm going to go into listening mode now, okay? Because I'm going to watch the rest of England, the second half of the England-Ghana game. So I'd like to sing a song, if that's all right.
Yeah.
On my way out.
Yeah, sure. Here.
Okay. Oh, I wish I was in a land of cotton. Old times there are not forgotten. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. For Dixieland's where I was born. Early Lord, one frosty morn. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Do, do, do. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. You know your daddy's bound to die. But all my trials, Lord, will soon be over. Thank you. Good night, Jack. Thank you very much. And have a blessed evening.
Praise God indeed. That was a special treat by our friend Kenny Given. Can be found at Kenny Given Show. And there's the link for you there. Holy cows, man. This is Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. If you have not yet subscribed or liked, or if you haven't found it connection yet, it might be time. Snafu, you are in the back. You raised some profane accusations. So this is what I was trying to explain and what our brother, who was it? Kenny was saying. So Snafu's always active in the back with his accusations and nonsense. So here we go. Yes, Snafu, brother. I've been there also, pal. So what? What's your point, brother? I'm listening. Jack thinks his predator optics aren't known, according to Snafu. According to Snafu, Grape, losing jobs, JG. No thanks. I'm trying to help you all with fighting mind control. Snafu snaps. Losing his family. And then a question. Your grapist guru? The guru says, yeah, I've done that. Snafu snaps. No further questions. Just jump into persecution. Brothers and sisters, don't be foolish, okay? Don't be an angry, bitter character who jumps to conclusions and wants to tear people down all the time. It's not a healthy way of living. Not at all. Holy cows, we have a treat returning. Again, this is Chats with Jack. It is Talcott Tuesday, and we never know what the universe is going to bring. But let's welcome back a friend of ours, Jim, with founder of the Alien Connection Truth Network. How are you, brother? What's new?
Good, Jack. How have you been?
Feeling blessed, my brother. Truly, I am.
That's good. Very good. I seen you on. I figured I'd drop by, say hi to you.
Yes, I appreciate that. Anything going on new with you? How are things progressing?
Pretty good. You know, one day at a time. That's all we can do. So.
Actually, that reminder, brother. I was in my prayer and reflection earlier, trying to be grateful. Not trying. I'm going to mute you. We're getting a little feedback. Actually, maybe I can fix that. Let me try this.
This is King.
King. Beautiful. Here. A beautiful beast. Gorgeous, yeah. Fred.
Oh, yeah.
See, that right there, King, is evidence of, that's evidence of love and life that God shares with you, right?
Yeah. That's unconditional love right there.
And that's what we're here to learn. And I think our pets do help us remember love without condition, to be present, right? You said one day at a time. We've got another guest here, another man who's got deep thoughts and concepts on time and history and all sorts of good things. Where'd he go? There he is. Welcome back. The Machine Lies. How are you, my brother?
1 second.
Hi.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries. No worries. Hey, this one day at a time. Earlier today in prayer and gratitude, I was considering and thanking all of the elements involved in my life, right? Because I've started this practice of more intentional seeking prayer and blessings and appreciation for the water I drink, for the food I consume, and really being more intentional with what am I bringing into my body. And so my prayer was, with the idea of water, thank you, God, for all the elements and all the variables that bring today and me together. One of those elements is the moments, right?
Yeah. Well, we're all part of nature, and we all have elements of the earth within us, within our DNA.
Amen. Hey, Machine Lies, welcome back, brother. Things set up. How you doing?
Yeah, I think you guys should be able to hear me now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, blessings. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys.
You joining with any thoughts yet, or updates? Anything you want to explore?
Well, the last thing I heard Jim say is that we have the DNA of the Earth inside of us. I believe that's what he said, right? So I think that's a powerful thought, right? In terms of I think even the Bible says that we're made of the clay of the earth, right? And of course, there's a whole relationship that I found out, and I think most people know about this, right? Between the mycorrhizal relationship between the mushrooms and the trees, and how that's kind of responsible for the production of oxygen on this planet. So, so how we're here obviously because of this huge process, right? That I think started up at some point in the history of the Earth, right? So I'm not sure that it was a process that was always there in the Earth, right? I think this suddenly started up, or at least according to certain researchers like James Lovelock, right? The mushrooms started suddenly having this relationship with the trees. So it's pretty interesting. I obviously would love to know more about how that relationship started and what the factors are there.
What's interesting as well is that everything within creation comes from within the darkness into the light. I was in the womb for 9 months before I traveled down the tunnel and into the light. All the sustenance that the earth grows to provide for our survival grows out of what? The darkness of the ground and into the light.
The darkness precedes the light, but it is through the light that it all comes together. Golly geez, man. And that darkness too, within our mind, we have limits on what we know, and beyond what we know or we can imagine is this darkness in the realm of our consciousness.
Well, everybody is in search of one truth, but there are many truths, and what them truths are is what individual perceives as being their truth.
Yeah. Their truth comes from their ideas, each individual, right?
Exactly.
Our ideas and our truth are usually the same thing, but it's real easy to confuse ourselves and to deceive ourselves into thinking what we think is true without actually confirming that. That's what Snafu and others are doing, right?
And as far as good and evil, there is no separation. It's all the same energy. It all depends on how you look at it and utilize it. Choose to utilize it.
Light and darkness.
And if we're made in God's image, and we have egos, you can imagine the ego, or the huge ego that God Himself would have, and perhaps you could assume that God's ego could be, in other words, Satan could be God's alter ego.
I've considered that, and that makes sense too. Made in the likeness, we're given the opportunity to have a dark side, and we can believe in the dark side. God just allows being, is my answer, and allows us to know being. But the world has taught everyone to be afraid.
Life is a journey to be experienced, not a problem to be solved.
Well, and along the way, as you experience more of life, you discover that you are the solution to your problems. And if you stop spending all your time on problems, you actually get to experience a lot more life. That's something that took me a while to realize. Each of us has the power, once we develop self-mastery of the inner state, the inner universe. Self-mastery is the way to be without fear, right? To stay calm and clear-minded in times of anxiousness or challenges. Because who we are, we're here to, we are the answers. We are the answers to the world's problems. And the secret that Jesus knew, they can't control the fearless.
But the problem with that is we're also the cause.
Education is the answer. Sharing knowledge, nurturing the growth of the life that's around us. This is the path I'm on. I've been saying this earlier. I don't know God's plans, but I can imagine that as it was written, the life of Jesus was lived and recorded for the purposes of glorifying our God. And to believe in him is to walk with him and to live as him with faith in God, right? So I can honestly say my intentions have been pure for a long time. And and I am following the way of love. I am following the way of Jesus, growing my faith in during uncertainty, despite uncertainty. I've been growing in my love of God. I mean, that's really what today's topic is about. Love for God.
As far as good and evil, you find that naturally within nature itself. You know, in the form of like natural disasters, hurricanes. I mean, they cause damage, but they're not evil. A lion mauling a gazelle is terrible, but it's not immoral. That's nature. So there's natural chaos within nature. And man's got to understand that he's also a part of this nature. See? So where there's natural chaos amongst nature itself, there'll always be chaos amongst men.
So it doesn't have to be.
Unless you want to separate yourself and think you're better than everything else around you.
No. The path and the way of Jesus, and not just him, but many of the people from the past, we transcend the world. We overcome the world. We overcome the chaos and transcend the chaos to be one with the order and command of love.
So if man is the being of all things, what is the rest of it around us? Illusions?
Perceptions of the one experience, because that's where we've gone wrong. We think we're all separated and divided, but we're just one lifelong experience that's happening with everyone else. There's no separating us, except the beliefs we attach ourselves to.
Well, that's the thing. Not everybody's going to believe the same,
Well, if everyone's given the opportunity to examine and consider, the same or similar ideas, we can discuss and we can find where we agree, where we can find reconciliation, right? Because what's going on right now, the charade of authority, this delusion of superiority that so many people want to carry around, judging, condemning other religions, other nations, condemning other political parties, condemning
Well,
other sexual preferences or identities. People are filled. It's a perfect story. We can be filled with love and acceptance or condemnation and fear.
okay, so historically, that's been going on many times until it gets to a point where there's a reset. Something major happens and causes a reset, and it's always going to be that way.
That's what we are. I believe that the purpose of my life, what I've done with myself, and what I believe, well, I know my purpose. I'm taking what I've learned in myself and I'm trying to bring it out into the greater world. And in this path of self-development, self-examination, you become a pattern interrupter. And that's what I am. That's what we are. We're here to interrupt the patterns of oppression and cruelty and exploitation that the world is showing.
How long do you think the human species has been in existence?
Why?
No, how long do you think we've been in existence?
In the mind of God, eternally, perhaps. I don't know. In the physical realm, I've heard estimations of 300,000 years. I've heard, I think, longer than that. I don't remember the specifics, but it's far longer than just the past 7,000 years.
Okay, and in all that time, there's never been true world peace.
We don't know that.
Well, I mean,
Because,
if there was, it didn't last long.
well, and the reality is, behind all the man-made conflicts, there has always been world peace. See, it's our conflicts and our, I don't know, machine lies. Please, if you've got stuff, jump in here.
I think we're first time in as I voiced on your show earlier, we're living in a sort of world civilization, right? So I think that has a lot of implications for the way we behave and the sort of monoculture that's being imposed on us. I think it's mainly sort of Western culture that's kind of morphed into the monoculture. But the problem is that it's not in control of the Western civilization any longer, right? Because the technology is sort of universal, right? So the universalism of technique or technology, I think that's one of the primary issues of our time, and I think it's going to bring about a huge change. I think in terms of the scientific worldview, it's bringing about a sort of existential crisis between man and technology, right? And in terms of the religious worldview, it's bringing about a dialectic between religion and science, which is very interesting. And so from that perspective, I think that we're living in a completely novel situation, even just given the practical facts of the situation, right? If we just deduce our beliefs on our own and whatnot, and but I think most people will accept those basic terms, right?
I think our knowledge, research, and technology is what eventually comes around and bites us in the ass, if you will, because there's been many resets and many there's evidence of resets in technology they had even before we had a reset to start all over again.
The thing is the answers have always been available for us. They were shown and taught by some true masters, incredible gifts and teachers of humanity. But the messages got lost in tradition and, I don't know, exploitation, misunderstanding, confusion, whatever. I believe seriously.
That's part of the natural chaos of nature that'll always be there.
Well, and part of what is always there is learning. And if we collectively learn from the past and we apply the lessons of the past, unity is the truth. If we accept the truth of our one unity, we're one unified experience here on earth that is literally choosing to support an oppressive state and an oppressive exploiting money system. We do not have to live this way. If
Well, could it
people
be
can,
that?
huh?
Could it be that we're living on a prison planet?
By choice and by ignorance, by miseducation, by the few.
Exactly. Because when we're born into control society, we're indoctrinated. We're formed by society itself. Certain education, same one across the board, in order to brainwash you. Then you got when you're born, you get a birth certificate, you got a social security number where they track you from birth to death.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about control.
Right. And that's the idea. There's a spiritual meaning and message in this, right? Fallen angels, they'd rather rule in hell than serve in heaven. Mankind has adapted those ways as well. Everyone's fighting for control, whether it's a corporate entity, a government entity. And then the people, they don't know better. They're in this state of defiance. Everyone's rebelling against everything. And I went through those stages too. But the answer truly is we unite together. We demand the truth, right? And we help each other accept the truth. The truth is some behavior is not acceptable in today's society. Snafu snaps. You're being patient in the back, and yet nonsense in the back.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of slander going on with Snafu and whatever. You know, it's up to him. You know, I really don't care. Right. You know, it's cool, but yeah, I've seen public records of his, you know, for sure, and it doesn't look too pretty. Right. But yeah, you know, yeah, it is what it is. You know, I don't think there's any real reason for the show to like diminish itself associating with Snafu snaps. But yeah, the reason why it continues to, it's all a mystery to me. But yeah, I guess it's part of the plot here. But yeah.
Well, my hope is truly, I've said this, I believe that my life experience and education has actually prepared me to help a man like Snafu. And if Snafu is willing to learn from a man like me, who knows? God might work miracles. Love transformed me. That's what my faith is in. Dirty Low Life, another man of love and light. Welcome to you. How are you today, brother?
Good, thanks. Hope we're all well.
Truly. Any thoughts, feelings, updates you want to?
Yeah, based on what you were talking about, I wanted to ask you and the panel if you'd come across much Rudolf Steiner. Because he had this idea of the third character of Aruman at the end of time, where Lucifer is the character at the beginning of time who falls and brings light, and Aruman is the character at the far end of time, where everything is fully mechanistic and automatic, and there's no creativity, there's no play anymore. And he basically described the Christ figure as being this fulcrum about which these two principles are balanced in the world in the middle of time. I'm just interested in your reflections or thoughts.
Yeah, I think Rudolf Steiner is very much superior to Blavatsky in terms of his anthroposophy, right? I think anthroposophy versus theosophy, I think there's a great dialectic that one can draw between the two. And I think his views on Ahriman are very novel. I think they really explain the modern world it's much more realistic than Blavatsky's views on Christ consciousness and his whole ideas about education, right, of children, right, his ideas about biodynamic farming, right. I mean, Steiner adds so much to the discussion that I think is being ignored, right. I'm a huge proponent of Steiner, and I really, I mean, the guy wrote like 100 books, so he kind of created like a vortex of knowledge, right. So
Too much for me to read.
yeah,
He learned and proposed more than I can comprehend in a lifetime, it feels like.
absolutely.
And some of his writing it's deep. I mean, just short statements, and there's something there, but I gotta sit and think on that. I mean, that was my experience, at least. That
Yeah, same here.
question of that concept of Lucifer, Christ, and Ahriman. It was the way I understood that was very interesting, kind of like Machine Lice, had a real novel idea, and I understand those ideas came from history, other cultures and stuff. So, Jim, you have any experience, influence from Steiner, Rudolf Steiner?
No,
No.
I've never read up on him. No.
I find he's one of those characters where you either know quite a bit about his work, not that you know his work, or you can just never come across him. He's quite somewhere in the shadows somehow. Or
Yeah.
It's the first time I'm hearing of him.
Because I went for a long time having not heard of him at all, and then suddenly, his work fits into so many places that I've already sort of edged on but never really gone into. I just find that interesting that it's very esoteric.
Well, this is the amazing thing of the time that we're living in. I mean, we have access to so much knowledge from the past and today through electronics, right? The development of communication. Imagine consider and imagine when mankind actually uses the things that we've been given, whether it's technology or knowledge, and we use it for the betterment of the world, truly, instead of the exploitation or the manipulation of people. I can imagine it. I can see it happening, guys. I believe it is us. We are here for that experience.
You make me realize that there's a lot of that that's gone on within me. I've spent most of my life avoiding technology because I can see what it's doing. I've studied it, and once you know what it's doing, it's not too pleasant, put it that way. But like anything, it's a tool to be wielded, and if I'm not going to wield it, who is? So something has shifted in me where I've sort of taken grasp of the nettle somehow. I think it is about finding that balancing point in the middle of how do we utilize the opposite ends of the stick.
I think it's happening because that is what we're doing. It's in our nature. It's on our nature to learn and to grow and to overcome. And when I started learning more about technology and the world that we're in, between the exposure that Snowden and Julian Assange did and really exposing what these corporations and data centers were doing, I know a lot of people got very paranoid. I know a guy who he didn't want to have a conversation with me unless we put our phones in the microwave because he didn't want whoever to listen in. So, I mean,
I feel the same way about certain conversations.
Well, there's a guy named Utah Phillips, an old folk singer, and he tells stories about the FBI opening his mail and spying on him, and he inspired my attitude. You know what? Those agents and employees need to learn from somewhere, so listen in, baby. I want to talk to you anyway. I took us off there. Sorry.
No, that's a keen insight. Somebody in the chat just mentioned about using the tool, and it reminded me of a saying: "The fool fears the tool, the wise man fears the fool with the tool."
Woo! Woo! The tool of wisdom comes to mind there. Fool and a little bit of wisdom, man, can do a lot of damage. But
Yeah.
that, please go ahead, Mitch.
Yeah, I think that the tools correspond to a different realm of expression, right? A much more humane sort of realm of expression, right? And this is an example of a humane sort of technology, because tools are based on skill and not technique, right? Machines are based on technique and automation, right? And that does not rely on human skill. So you're depersonalizing the human, right? So if we can develop a greater relationship to tools, right, and the way we and I think that's why the cell phone is so has integrated itself so much, because it's personal, right? It brings the personal back into the experience, right? Even though it's something that is an agent of depersonalization and collectivization at a certain level, right? It still had that appeal because people have a more personal attachment to tools than they do to machines, because a machine will just do its thing without you, right? You just press the button and there it goes, right? So, but the skills and the style, right? Because the cultural style, each tool had its own expression of cultural style. So that's kind of removed with the process of mass production. You know, the process of making doesn't have the individual touch of the person who made it, right? So
Right. And in the mechanization to serve the machines, a lot of people become the tool. Right. And hey, what you said about tools as well. I was considering this a long time ago. Pretty much anything can be used as a weapon or a toy, right? And so a wise man will take a tool and use it for what it's intended, and a master can use a weapon like a toy. I mean, it's the same device, tool, weapon, toy, whatever the intention and mastery is, the skill. Deep stuff, man.
You
Can
make me
you
think. Sorry,
No, please jump in.
you make me think. How does that relate? Machinery. How about the machinations of the mind? The mind
Mm,
being machine-like when it's running away with itself on autopilot. Like you say, you click the button and it happens. Kenny is a great example for me because he's really good at triggering me, and my brain just goes off it goes.
yeah, I've thought of this a lot, and there's two main things that I've come up with that are sort of visceral aspects of this. One is the idea of mediation, right? That we're mediated through the machines. Like, for example, the conversation we're having is mediated through machines, right? And then and we don't know how it's bringing what it brings to us, right? So that process is removed from us. And then the second thing is with the projection, right? And the projection is in the externalization of the ego in the machine, and how we have a foggy somatic detachment with the world around us because of the machine, right? That factor of numbness comes from a sense of atomization and massification of the machine itself. I'm sorry, atomization of the human and massification of the machine, right?
this whole experience, guys. So many perspectives, so many ideas, so many ways of knowing the meaning and the method of how everything happens. Guys, we're living at such an incredible time. to be able to cross paths with a man like Machine Lies, as well scholared and studied as he is, and he's, no offense, he's one of a lot of people I found that are just friggin' brilliant, and
A blessing.
yeah, a true
Yeah, thank you
blessing.
guys. Yeah, I appreciate you guys too.
Well, see, and this is just another logical question, right? If we can find brilliance in common people, what is wrong with our politicians? This has got to change. The insanity and delusions from the White House, brothers and sisters, either this life is a dream and God is doing everything, or we got a lot of work to do. We got some answers to come up with.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jack, but
No.
what does your gut tell you, brother? Which is
It's
it?
a little bit of both.
Mm.
We're experiencing a dream that God envisioned for us to find and discover and to grow together and apart. And every one of us, we're on our own unique path, becoming the whole being, becoming more godlike, returning to being more godlike. And when I say that, I truly do mean holy, right? Divine, authentic, true, sovereign. That's who we are. And I've come to know this God of reconciliation, this God of love that reveals the truth, it reveals the answers, and it reveals to us life one moment at a time. A world where people aren't fighting, holding on to their old beliefs, right? A world where people are united with the purposes of, united in purpose, just to create a better world for us all. That is the way of Jesus. As he said, his ways are not, it's not a burden. It's not a burden to be kind or forgiving. As a matter of fact, as he showed, it's the only way to overcome the world, to transcend the world, unite with love.
I think it's also our default state of being.
Yes.
A child is Christ-like. Until they're impressioned by pain and trauma and suffering of the world. They're already loving, they're already giving, they're already playful.
You know what? You just reminded me. I think it's Eckhart Tolle. I think he talks about the pain body. I might be mistaken, but this identity, this protective identity that's formed when we go through pains and trauma that we can't really understand or explain. It's a method of defending us and helping us to survive through tough times. But if people don't learn better, they assume those identities. And that identity is of who we are. That's where our fear is. That's where our suffering is. And so, go ahead, Machine.
Yeah, one of the ideas I just started considering was this idea of the atemporal nature of Christ's salvation, right, in the Orthodox tradition, and how basically Christ goes into Hades to recover the souls that were lost, right? And there's a couple I guess mentions to this that Christ actually goes in the past and he saves people like Plato and all these people, right? They recognize that Jesus is the true God because Jesus goes and talks to them in the afterlife. So so Christ's salvation kind of extends into the past as much as it does the future. So it's not something that's gonna be a future thing that's done after Christ was crucified and then onto the future, right? But it's something that extends to everybody that ever existed in the past as well. So it's almost like Christ is working on both aspects of the time progression. He's going into the past as well.
I have this idea that time is itself is an illusion. What there is flux and change, but all of that flux and change happens now. Now is the only moment, and it's eternal. All of the past is a memory now, and all of the future is an imagination happening now. So that very much resonates, where there is only now in which to do anything, be that the Christ or anything else.
That's what helped me realize the likelihood and true probability that this is a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream of life. It is but a dream. They told us when we were kids. We sang it. We knew it. Life was a dream. We had fantasies. We had adventures. And somewhere along the way, we convinced ourselves to grow up and conform. Get a job. Fit in, you bum. Maybe that was just me. I sold my soul to the machine, and the machine does lie. This machine of government and corporate greed that legalizes murder through warfare. I sold myself to that, guys, and it's not a place we want to feed. It's not a place I want to feed. But seriously, guys, with this awakening, with the exposure of the evidence, we have the answers. The world has had the answers we need. They've always been here. Just like the truth of God, just like the truth of love. The answers are here. A world of peace is waiting for mankind to accept, receive, share, nurture, grow. And in peace, guys, that's where prosperity and that's where the imagination grows. That's where we can learn the most, when we're in peace. It's hard to learn when you're afraid of your budget, your bills, the future. Oh. Thoughts, ideas? We hit that 2-hour mark again.
Yeah, I think I concur with Dirty Lowlife. Actually, me and Jack had an interesting special on time, where we looked at the different relationships of time. We had a little conversation, and yeah, I'm inclined to think there's lots of mysteries about time, right? That it's not all sort of. I don't think it's moving in a straight line at all, right? And I think that's the least of the ideas that kind of affect us. I also don't think that time is the same as movement, right? I think there's key aspects to the fact that time and movement are separate things. The more I look at it, right? This idea obviously came from Aristotle, right? That from his concept of the prime mover. So it's interesting that in physics and a lot of other things, they've tried to come up with this concept, but it seems like, they're different in a way, right? So I've been playing with this idea of cyclical time versus linear time on the show, because a lot of people seem to bring this up. A lot of occultists seem to bring this up, right? And especially Rene Guénon, brings up the notion of the Kali Yuga. And I guess you could ask if we're living in the Kali Yuga, right?
I think Nietzsche proposed the idea of what if the devil arrives in your life at some point and just tells you the truth, that all of time is an eternal recurrence and you are bound to live this life as it is without any change forever. How would you feel? It's quite a jarring concept. At one level, I suddenly feel imprisoned. Well, I don't have to do this all over again. and again and again and again. But then at the other end of the stick, I'm totally free of it because there's nothing else to do.
Right. The only thing we can do is be. But how we get to be is greatly affected by our level of understanding of the moment, right? Because it's only in that moment, that fractional moment, that we get to be, that we get to remember, imagine, to feel, to sense. It's only now. But if now is created, here's another idea. All of eternity in the past, every moment, every second, it was for the purposes of generating this moment now, right? So all the past brought us to now. And now, if you follow that line of logic, now is preparation for next, right? The next now, which is always upon us, right? So the nows I want the world to share with me is a world of peace, prosperity, a world where true love is shared. And I tell you what, I struggled with these ideas. Rejoice and give thanks to the Lord. Who is the Lord? Well, that which lords over me is that which I serve, and I humbly, gratefully serve and offer any truth that is with me. And love, the Lord of love is who I rejoice and I serve, whatever name that might be. I grew up with the name of Jesus as the Prince of Peace, and I model my love after what I think he showed. Hey, Pixel T, I get you meant no slight or intentions, but I stand by my words with you and Mitch. I really wish you guys had a different view of what you see me doing every day. Because what I'm literally trying to do in what I'm saying, I'm following the way of Jesus. My hope and prayer is to bring peace to the world. And I think we can do so if we can, especially if we can get the state representatives to play along. We can get the men and women of Congress who are in elected positions right now. They're getting paychecks at least. Love to remind them who they serve. I'd love to invite the men and women of Congress, both parties, all involved, right? And the White House and the administration, including these Supreme Court judges, right? The authorities on the law. Let's get them all together and let's serve God.
I was about to ask you, Jack, do you think these people you're referring to in positions of authority, should they serve God or the people?
They should serve the truth, and the people are the truth that they should be concerned about, right? But the truth they serve is what they're paid to do, right? By the lobbyists. And chasing profits. Guys, that's why we have municipalities and states selling out the resources and the drinking water of different communities for these data centers, right? Gotta produce the technology, gotta consume the data, gotta be there. It's a bunch of bullshit, guys. What is going on here? How am I so still so misunderstood? God
Projection
is
is my guess.
Yeah. I haven't overcome the confusion that people have found. They love to hold on to their doubts, and it seems they like to try and diminish me for some reason. But something I've said, guys, if it is possible that God is using me as a messenger with this as part of the evidence, that's part of my argument that maybe God is with me and for me and these ideas. Well, I've been looking at my life and constantly trying to question what is going on with me. What are people doing? What might God want me to see? And looking at my past life, there was a clear pattern with Snafu's here in the back, and he's texting me, reminding me of my family, of my past. See, the people who claimed to love me in my past, they pushed me away and they've denied me. I am the truth of me that they refuse to see. And so the ones who claim to love me from the past, they spend no time with me directly, but apparently they talk about me. That got me to thinking about a lot of our churches, right? A lot of the traditions and religions, people talk about God, but do they really spend time with God, even in the churches? I mean, I have to say no if I look at the greater world picture, right? Because if people felt faith and they felt loved by God, we would be taking greater chances in our lives. We'd be doing more towards a better world. The world has been conditioned to feel defeated. That's what I used to do.
It's funny you say that, because I was about to mention that there's a masochistic part of me that feels really left out by Snafu.
Yep.
Can you abuse me in the back chat, please, as well, Snafu? I don't want to feel left out, brother.
Yeah, me and Jack got a lot of the heat here. I even got a post made about me, claiming that I abuse women. So that's happened as well. But yeah, I am in a happily married relationship. We have had our ups and downs publicly on Jack's channel, but we've got better over time, and we've opened up to each other and
grow together, brother.
Yeah, and the healing is happening. So I appreciate everyone for listening to my to me and Abby's all of our issues that we've had. We worked through it together, and I think that it's a positive outcome for everyone, and I feel blessed. So thank you guys.
It's good to hear, brother.
Definitely, Jack was one of the only people to give positive contributions in that area. So definitely, I think like a lot of people online were sort of naysayers, but I think Jack kind of believed in like us uniting and stuff, and I think that meant a lot to me. So going forward, I always remember that Jack did that. But yeah, blessings.
Thank you, brother. I do believe in love. I have faith in love, and at the same time, though, I know that all of us, in and out of our relationships, that's actually where we learn the most about ourselves. It's how we get to learn how to love in different ways. And that was actually a question I was thinking about, but we're already running long. This idea of, can people love you wrong? Can people love you wrong? I think that's a yes and a no question. Snafu is an example of one who, I think he loves me. I do. I think he loves his idea of God, and I think he has love to share, but he loves me the wrong way. And it's not healthy. It's kind of abusive. Crazy Guru, welcome back. Although not to be rude and no relation, but because of the time, I do kind of want to start wrapping things up and winding down.
I can respect that. It's okay. I'm just glad to have been in the room for the next 5-10 minutes with these great gentlemen, because you all mean so much to me. I do have a little answer for what you just said, if you don't mind me taking a stab at it, Jack. I'm not saying you can't love incorrectly. I think you can pretend to love incorrectly, wrong, yeah. But love is so universal that if you do it correctly, you can't do it wrong. So I think the enactment of can be mistaken and incorrect, whereas the full enactment of can't be. So I think there's a yes and no for me there for what you was asking, if it made sense to you.
I agree. This is what I realized. The truth is, even in our fears, it's just a distortion of a love that we hold. And a powerful fear is tied to a powerful love, as is a powerful hate tied to a powerful love. So the key is to get clarity, though, and bring that which is in the darkness, that which is holding us in darkness, that which feels like it's holding us back or holding us down. We got to bring the light of our awareness into that darkness to see, oh, hey, this is a part of me, but it's not who I am. Andy,
beautiful. I get it.
God bless you, man. Thank you again. Your continuing support, contributions. It is very appreciated. Koalas don't give a shit about global warming, Jack, but Jack does. I care about a lot of things, and I don't want the koalas to have to give a shit about global warming, to be honest. I think we can do a lot better with the environment. Seriously, guys. Oh, not to disagree, but something you said, I think it was you, Machine Lies, it might have been mistaken. The division between technology, perhaps, did you say science and religion? Or was it technology and religion? Science. That schism between science and religion, it's been there for a while.
Yeah, it's technology and man and science and religion. Technology and man on the science side, and then science and religion on the religion side. Yeah.
All right. I'm actually of the belief that with the development of technology, some of the discovery of the past and translations of some of the newer discovered or recovered documents, science and religion are reuniting. We're at a time where we can do this. I mean, Crazy Guru he's working on his path in his way of doing that, trying to unify knowledge into a cohesive foundation. Is that fair to say?
Oh, that's a very fair statement to say. It's very principled, because it does cover a lot of things. Obviously, I would say there's much more explanatory than that, but thank you for at least mentioning it.
Well, there's been many philosophers and authors from the past and the present that have worked towards that goal. But in my experience, in my own personal growth and development, I'm absolutely convinced, right? Science proves God's existence. To me, it's undeniable. I saw a debate last night, and I almost joined it. An atheist debating people with the claim, your God is imaginary. I was going to agree.
I would have said my relationship with God is imaginary, definitely, but...
There you go. My identity is imaginary, and that's what I wanted to challenge him on, is how faithful is he in his belief of his identity as he negates the creator of the creation.
Can I just mention this? I'm not trying to plug anything, but yeah, that reminds me what you said is Machine Lies had a guest on his show. I think it was just Machine Lies was the guest. What was his name? Hostile, was it?
Yeah, Hostile Hyperborean. Yeah.
Oh, what a man! I really would like you to get me in touch with him, brother, if you could.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He blew my
absolutely.
mind. But he said something about mine what Jack was speaking about there. But yeah, thank you for setting me up there, brother. And it was yep, I've lost my train of thought as I thought because I got sidetracked with him agreeing with us. But thank you anyway. But yeah, this gentleman, he said something related to what you just said, Jack. But I'm going to let it go right now because I've forgotten it.
Well, it is recorded there, so the recording is still there, by the way. So
I've just forgotten the trigger that Jack said to remind me of something he said that agreed with, which I've been pondering on myself. So I'm letting it go because I forgot it.
Hey, let's do the deal. Let's start wrapping up, folks. Final words and any particular order. I have appreciation and respect for all of you. Sincerely, thank you.
Yeah, I'll jump. Just to echo you from Jack, love you all. It's always good to talk. Love your chat. Everybody in there, including those who are hard to love. I still try to love you anyway. Be blessed. Take care.
Diddy, Diddy, before we go, can I call
Sure.
you? I got a personal request for you. Something cool to do with your music.
Yeah,
I need,
sure.
especially related to the videos you've asked me to do. So maybe you can help me with this. So
oh yeah, nice.
And we'll show Jack. I'm struggling with audio, and then I was like, Dirty, he's the one that got me into this. He's going to help me get out of this. So thank you, brother. I'll do that.
Yeah, sure.
But before you go, I thought I'd try. Sorry, Jack. Go.
Hey, sincerely, thank you again, my brother. You are a welcome guest, and I think becoming a favorite for sure of the viewers as well. Either way. Go ahead.
Machine Lies, do you want me to get out here because I was last in the door, and you can have that little thing for Jack because I have got something to ask Machine Lies. Where are you going? When are you going next, brother? Because I do want to catch you and speak to you guys because I love this thing, and I do want to get in touch with Vital. That was a very interesting character.
Yeah, I think I'll just leave with saying that I am going to be live tonight, right, on the channel. So that's at 9:15 p.m. Eastern. So that is in 4 hours from now, right? So roughly speaking. So if you will be up at that time, I know it's very late for you guys, but yeah, you're more than welcome to join us. Blessings.
I'm on a all nighter, brother, so I got no excuses. I've been preparing for this, Jack knows, and I keep that to myself, but I'm on an all nighter anyway, so that's what me and I may as well jump on if I'm around, didn't I?
Yeah, usually Jack doesn't join my show because it's being heckled by Brown's Boy, but now we don't have we don't have Brown's Boy at the show because I had to tell him off because he was kind of doing the same behavior towards me, so I kind of like told him to chill out, and then he told me that I'm not a real friend and stop talking to me. So so it is what it is.
As we do when you don't listen to us, right?
Right. So I appreciate you guys for sticking with me and believing in the message and thank you guys for participating. Blessings.
Hey, I appreciate that. And sorry to hear about Brown's Boy, but I appreciate the heads up too.
Yeah, I'm sad about it too, but it is what it is. We can't force people to like us and whatnot. So it is what it is.
Well, he's a good dude. He'll figure it out. So in the link I did drop, TML's stream is there for you to find later. Okay. So check that out. We'll catch up as well. Thank you, Machine Lies and Crazy Guru, my brother.
I've got nothing but appreciation to you, Jack, because I'm being involved with the main conversation tonight. And as I confessed at the beginning, shouldn't really be on the show because my stimulation will make it all about me. But your patience in allowing me to speak tonight, even though I found it difficult to listen to others, was amazing for me. And I hope I behaved myself when you guys were being amazing tonight. And next time around, I'll have to balance that out and do a lot more listening and attentiveness rather than impulsiveness. But it's all to do with having a great day with family, having some really great results. I'm going to sleep with a smile on my face tonight. I know a lot won't, but a lot of that is also to do with you, Jack, from a personal man-to-man point of view. Everybody else, like Snafus, have got to have their own say, and I can't speak for him, but I can defend a man that's defending me. So that's all I got to say on that.
Thank you, brother. appreciate you, and we will connect again soon. There's a couple more. Snafu, I see your stuff in the chat. If you keep yourself calm and patient, I'm going to get to you very briefly. Well, there he is. JG, what's going on, man?
What's up, Guru?
Final words?
Final words. Man. Mind control is to be rejected, not to be conformed to. Come on. Let's be real. Let's be conscious.
Well,
let's be
wait.
reasonable, logical. No.
Let-
Oh, man, you're crazy, man. Shaking your head.
JG, let's look at it a different way. What if you master mind
All right,
control?
man. I'll talk to you later. You're full of shit.
Okay. I'm full of shit because I'm suggesting that you can master control of your mind so you don't have to fear external mind control. Baby, it's really path is simple. The path is simple, but for those who know, you'll know. Snafu,
I wanted to sing
sing
a
a song?
Can I sing a song before I go? But also, can we correct the record? Guru just admitted in your chat the rape was admitted. He look. So he admitted the rape in your chat.
He said there was accusation.
He's changing his story. At first, he said, "Yes, I did that," and now he's saying, "No." Can you let me finish instead of putting words in my mouth?
I want it, please.
He said at first, "Yes, I did it." Now, because you wanted to change your story, he goes, "I've been accused of the same thing." But no, he the first thing he said, "Yes, I did that." So the rape with Guru, another rapist. And by the way, TML is in damage control because Muhammad came.
God bless. You know what? Brothers and sisters, those who care, I apologize for interrupting your peaceful, loving energies because I know that's what you're here for. You're here for this peace and joy and love and the good news and the good ideas. Brothers and sisters, the good idea for you to consider, give yourself permission. Trust in love again. Truly trust in love and be with love. And in your love, as you go through the moments, not just today, but the moments of today and the moments that continue from today, be with love and be with peace and be with faith in all good things. For all good things here on earth, especially in the life of a man or a woman, all good things are really going to come through that power of mind, right? The good ideas are for you. And you get to find the answers that are right for you. So if you're holding yourself out, God's got to show me a miracle. God's got to do things my way. Right? If you're doing that stuff, hey, go ahead. Go ahead. You can hold on to your fears. You can hold on to your beliefs. That's part of karma. Part of karma is growing up and learning how to let go. But if you want to be a child, you are a child. Allow your mind to go to innocence, right? Allow your mind to go to purity. Allow your mind to go to divinity and holiness, because those things are actually pretty good for you. I'm going to wrap it up there. Sincerely to all of you joining in now and later. The purpose is clear. Let's unite with the truth. They can't control a fearless person. Become that. Become that fearless person for you, for those around you, so the love shines through you. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, walk with faith, and of course, live without fear. Thank you again. God bless.